Hi everyone, I'm Vicki Murphy. I am a Jira Align specialist with Valiantus, which is a Platinum Solutions partner with Atlassian. In this video, I will be breaking down the updates to Jira Align with the release of version 10.126. This version was released to Jira Align instances on the continuous release track on October 27th, 2023. That will typically be your test or dev environment if you have one, and it will be released to production instances on November 10th, 2023. So with that, let's go ahead and dig in. Starting off in Jira Align, let's talk about the new capacity feature. Atlassian rolled out this new capacity planning module for Jira Align. This is an updated module from the plan capacity modal that used to be located in the forecast area. It has been given a total new look and feel, and a lot more information can be gathered from this page now. So let's go ahead and talk a bit more about it. First, you'll be able to access the capacity planning page from the left-hand sidebar on the portfolio solution or program levels. And the new capacity module does support your estimation system, which is updated functionality from the legacy feature. If you are using the points estimation statistic to estimate your features, capabilities if you have them, and epics, you will be able to use this feature in this module with points. If you're using the other three estimation statistics, member weeks, team weeks, or t-shirt estimation, you will input data using the member week system, and the tool will convert that data for you. I'm going to use the points as an example in this video. Atlassian actually created several in-depth videos for both systems, so I do encourage you to check those out. They are in the release notes, and those release notes are linked in the description of this video. But let's go ahead and take a bit of a tour here. In the top left corner, we're going to see some filters. Depending on what tier of the tool you access this page from will determine what filters you see. I am at the portfolio level, and here I am able to filter down based on specific programs within my portfolio. At most of the tiers, you will also see a work level selector. So do you want to look at your Epic tier or your feature tier? And I'm just going to leave it for Epic right now. Below that, we then see the plan summary. This starts out with a really great visual around the overall planned capacity versus our, planned work versus our capacity here, telling you if you're over or under the capacity. Below that, we then see some key data points. So starting out with how many teams are we planning for, how many total points per sprint do we have. It also starts to tell you the amount from the previous plan, so you can start to see change over time. This module is available one PI at a time, so you can make a plan for each individual PI. And that previous plan, if it's the previous PI, you can start to see that change PI over PI here. How many total sprints are we working with? What are our total buffer points that we're allowing? What's the average capacity? And then what's that total available capacity as well? Below that, we then have the plan details. So here you are going to see at the portfolio level each individual program and their overall information here. You're actually not able to edit directly here at the portfolio level. We actually need to take it down a level, but you can do this by selecting the program from this first panel on the left-hand side. This then opens up that program area. All of the data in the plan summary is filtered by that program you selected, and then we are going to see the details be each individual team that makes up that program. And from here, you're able to fill in the table. Let's go ahead and talk through these options. In each of these cells, you are able to actually click into this cell and add in data. Atlassian called out in the release notes that their intent was to make this like editing a spreadsheet and make it a flexible, efficient, and accurate system to use. Again, we can type in data as we choose, or you can use the pre-filled selections here. You can choose the default. This can be set in the top right corner, and I'll show that in just a moment of this grid. You can choose from the previous plan or the average velocity. So I'm going to choose the average velocity for this team. You then choose how many sprints you want to use for this plan. So the defaults that you can set, the previous plan again, or the anchor sprint. So I'm going to leave it at the anchor sprints here. can input some buffer points, then your capacity percentage. So is this team working at 100% capacity, 80% capacity, etc. It then calculates your total available capacity for that team for this PI. And that data then plays into the upper information here. And I'm just going to fill in another teams and we'll see how that impacts. Once you're done working at the team level, or sorry, at the program level here, you can also press back to program level, and this takes you back to that portfolio view. As I mentioned in the top right corner of this plan details table, you can set the defaults. So for those points per sprint, sprints, buffer points, and capacity percentage as well. In the top right corner, there's also an audit log, so you can review the changes that were made and who made them. A couple of other additions that Atlassian is talking about in this realm of Jira Align. First, the views here, the details of the plan will be locked 30 days after a PI is completed, so you can still view historical information, but not accidentally update it. Also, they moved the forecast page on the left-hand panel to the main area of each the portfolio solution and program tiers as well. And Atlassian also gave a teaser for some future updates with this capacity module, including some bar graphs around this information in the program and portfolio rooms, along with the backlog, and also that the capacity module will replace the program PI velocity calculation and overrides in the forecast page in team load card from the program room. I'm very interested to see what that actually looks like, so we'll keep an eye out for those future release notes on that topic. Again, in the release notes, Atlassian provided some quick links to some video demos of deeper dives into this functionality using multiple estimations systems. So the link to the release notes is in the description of this video. Let's move into some other updates. This one is targeted more towards admins. We have a new ability to sync some additional fields between Jira software and Jira Align. So I'm just going to navigate to my Jira connector under the Jira settings page here. With this updated functionality, Atlassian also added in a new tab to the Jira connector. So we have a field management tab here. Going forward, we will be able to sync the priority, feature type fields, as well as any custom single select drop-down custom fields and text input fields from Jira Align. So you will only be able to sync the custom fields that you've created in Jira Align, but you can sync them over to Jira software to a system or custom field. Let's talk a little bit about how to use this view now. Here you are able to press add field. And it is going to give you the select box for those fields in Jira Align that you have the opportunity to sync to Jira software. So here I have that built-in field, the type field, and I also have a feature flow type field, which is a custom field in my instance. After that, you will be able to choose the field you want to sync this to over in Jira software. I want to make a call out that if you are not seeing your custom field, if you just added a new one in, don't forget to resync your configuration so that it pulls that field in. For any select list, so this is the priority field, the feature type field, and any of your custom single select fields here, you are going to want to also map the values. So pressing these three dots next to that field and clicking map field values. You will start out by selecting the Jira Align value, which it will give you the options configured in Jira Align. And then you want to input the exact string text of the option from Jira software. So for me, that matches 1-to-1. You type that in and then you press enter and it adds that mapping in. One thing that it calls out at the top here, you can actually map more than one Jira software option to one Jira Align option. And it will, the default syncing will be whatever is first in this field. And that is what this star is here. So here I could add in a second option like enabler, but it would by default sync that first option from Jira Align back to Jira. All right. Let me go ahead and cancel out of this one. If you need to delete a mapping, you can press the three dots here and press delete. And something I noticed not called out in the release notes, but is newer functionality, is when I do this, it gives me a notification in the left-hand corner, and I can actually undo that if I need to, which I think is really great. I also want to mention that the target completion date field has moved to this screen as well. If you previously had that mapped, the mapping should still be present. And I also want to make a mention on the priority field. As I was starting to sync this field, I noticed a nuance that took me a while to figure out, so I just want to call it out for you. I'm going to click map field values here. You will need the full string text of your priority options. I am working with a Jira Cloud environment, and I'm going to show the priority list now. Something that I did not notice was that the full string value actually includes this numbering as well. So if you're working with the out-of-the-box options or have a numbering system within those options, make sure you're grabbing that and dumping that into the Jira Align mapping here as well. You will need that in order for it to properly sync. Once you've saved the mapping, you should be able to test out that syncing immediately. Let's move into some new UI improvements. So Atlassian has been rolling out their new navigation interface that you see here over the last few months. And just a reminder, they are planning to deprecate the legacy of a navigation system with the next release of Jira Align, version 10.127, currently scheduled for early December of 2023. We are still seeing some minor updates to this new UI as Atlassian receives feedback from users. One of those updates is under the program level. Some of the reports that used to be located, or you used to be able to navigate to at least from the dependency page as well as the objective page, are now solely located under the reports menu. This includes all of our dependency maps, such as the dependency matrix you see here, the story link report, orphan report, objectives tree, progress by objective, and action items reports. You will now only find under the under the reports menu here. And that is so that we can now filter those reports by team within this new UI. Atlassian also continues to add accessibility features to the objectives tree, aka the OKR hub. We covered some of this in the last update as well. When you're on the page, you're now able to use the tab on your keyboard to tab through the various menu options, and pressing enter also allows you to open up any of these menus. With this release, now when you continue tabbing through this table, it will land you on the objective itself, and when you press enter, it will open up the objectives details panel. And we'll close out of that. Let's move into the backlog, where we now have a pretty significant update. In the backlog selector in the top left corner, you are now able to choose the objective backlog. This does work like all our other backlogs, with one added nuance. You do want to make sure that you select the tier here. If you have no tier of objectives selected, nothing will load. Once you make that selection, you can then work with your objectives like you would any other work item. You can rank them by dragging and dropping or right-clicking. You are able to add in fields here, expand them to see child objectives if they have any, and apply any of the filters you could to any other backlog as well. All right, the next update is to a specific report, the status reports. So let me navigate there really quickly. To keep up with the new UI changes, Atlassian has updated this report to remove the legacy landing page. So previously you would have to land on the status report and then make a bunch of selections to get to this page. This is now the new landing page, and it's taking into account your tier 1 filter, so what team and PI you may have selected. Atlassian also removed some versions of the status reports that are not compatible with the new navigation. That includes the organization structure, release vehicle, and My Reports versions of the status report. Other versions are now accessible through different options. So the theme version of the status report can be viewed by clicking on extra configs in the top right corner and selecting a specific theme in the filter dropdown here. The PI specific version can be viewed by using the tier 1 filter in the left-hand corner to filter down by a specific PI. And the epic version can be viewed by clicking on a specific epic from this view. Additionally, some other updates under the extra configs button, along with the theme filter, they also added a filter by owner option. Additionally, epics and standalone features will display in this report based on their primary and additional programs selected. And Atlassian called out they will be adding a addition to the extra configs button in a future release to allow you to toggle that option on or off. The ranking of this view is also being updated. Now you will view the portfolio solution or program ranking when you are viewing this report with either no PI selected or multiple PIs selected in the left-hand panel. And you'll view that PI specific rank when you have only one PI selected. Additionally, the status view is now going to be the default view when entering this page. And on the financials view, we see the removal of the company row as well as only one total row. There used to be duplicate total rows here. Moving into the slides for the last couple of updates, an additional update to the Azure DevOps or ADO connector is the ability to now sync those custom text area fields between Jira Align and Azure DevOps. To properly sync this data, you will need to input the exact field name of the Azure DevOps field you're wishing to sync to in the connector, as you see an example of here. The system does not require a specific field type on the Azure DevOps side to sync this information. Additionally, you will want to ensure that field is enabled in Jira Align for the portfolios you're syncing. You should see an error here if that isn't true, and you can make the appropriate adjustments. Atlassian also continues their efforts to fully remove all of the references and links to the quality module. In this release, we saw test sets fully removed, and in the next release, we will see test plans. Shifting over to the release notes, this release also included several defect fixes. Some of these actually are related to some of those feature releases we just talked about. But if you want to see the full list or dig into any of these or the updates we've covered in more detail, you can do so in the release notes, which are again linked in the description of this video. And that is all for the updates to Jira Align with the release of version 10.126. Thank you very much, and good luck on your Jira Align journey.